Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We are the Harvard University Employees Credit Union, and we are partnered here today with GreenPath to talk about spreading joy and saving money during the holiday season. Before we got into the presentation, I do want to let you know that this presentation will be recorded and sent out to everyone after it has happened. And also, please use the Q&A function if you have any questions. It just allows us to ensure that we answer all your questions and we can give you the most value out of this. And also, you are everyone is eligible to join the Harvard University Employees Credit Union. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to ask us. But before any further ado, I'm going to kick it over to Amber Miller at GreenPath. And Amber, please take it away.
Thank you so much, Terrence, and thanks everyone for joining us this morning. Like Terrence said, my name is Amber Miller, and I'm here today from an organization called GreenPath Financial Wellness, and we work in partnership with organizations like Harvard University Employees Credit Union to provide financial education and financial wellness resources to as many people as possible. So webinars like this are just one way that we do that. And I'm really grateful to Terrence and to Shannon and Ty and everyone at HU for the invitation to be here today. So I want to start out by saying I want this morning to be interactive. So throughout this presentation, I'm going to be asking some questions to encourage you just to share some things with others. Please chat those in. You can chat it to host and panelists. So we'll see that and then share it out. So please, please, please interact, engage. We want to hear examples from you. I'm going to be sharing some examples, some tips, but this is not an all-inclusive list. So if you've got suggestions, if you've got things that have worked well for you, please do interact with chat. We want to make sure that we're getting a list from you all as well. So the first question that I have for you actually, as we kind of go through some introduction stuff here, is what is the best holiday gift that you have ever given or received? Please go ahead and share that in chat. Would love to hear about the best holiday gift that you remember ever giving or having received. And as you're sharing those gifts, like I mentioned, I work for an organization called GreenPath Financial Wellness. And GreenPath is a nationwide nonprofit with a mission to empower people to lead financially healthy lives. So I know that sounds a little bit broad or vague, but that's intentional. At GreenPath, we recognize that a financially healthy life looks different and means something different to each and every one of us. And it should, right? We all have different goals. We all have different dreams. All of our financial situations are different. So financial wellness can and should look different to each one of us. At GreenPath, our goal is to really help people identify what a financially healthy life looks like to them, then educate and empower them on what they can do to get there. So again, we also partner with a bunch of credit unions, including Harvard, to provide a variety of resources and financial education opportunities just like this webinar. So we'll talk a little bit more about GreenPath at the end of our time together, but let's go ahead and talk holidays. I'm seeing some good gifts come in. Somebody shared that they received a couples massage. That sounds like an excellent gift to receive, especially after the stressful holidays. Looks like someone shared they gave a Traeger smoker to her husband. That sounds like a gift that probably benefited you as well. Love being able to have a gift like that. Someone else shared an experience, a trip to a Broadway show. That's great. Somebody else shared that they custom designed a logo for their significant other and created custom stationery and cards for them. Wow, those are all great, great, great options. As we go through our agenda, if you have other gifts that you remember giving or receiving that were especially powerful and memorable, please do share those in. But during our time together today, we're really going to be focusing on 4 main topics surrounding the holidays and your money. First of all, we'll start by how to start preparing for the holidays now. Then we'll talk about strategies to spend wisely, make some suggestions for creating lasting memories, and then also talk about how to start preparing for next year's holiday season sooner rather than later. Looks like somebody else shared in a basket with a new book and a Starbucks teddy bear from fiance. Great. These are all great gifts. It's fun to look back on those gifts that have been both given and received. And I'm sure that the fact that you are continuing to look back on them means that the person who gave them or that you gave them to is getting that pure joy and enjoyment that was hoped for when that gift was chosen. All right. In a perfect world, the best time to start planning and saving for the holiday season is the day after the last holiday season ends. But at this point, we do not have that option this year, right? It's November 16th. If we consider Thanksgiving kind of the main kickoff for the holiday spending season, so to speak, we're really down to the wire. Believe it or not, Thanksgiving is a week from today. My husband was just texting with his family this morning about Thanksgiving plans, and I was thinking, oh, we've still got a little bit, but no, it's a week from today. So we're really down to the wire at this point for this year. So we're going to start out by talking about how to start preparing for this upcoming season now. And then at the end of our time together today, we will talk about how to start preparing for next year, hopefully a little bit sooner than we're able to start preparing for this year at this point. So the first step to take is creating a holiday spending plan, which starts with, of course, figuring out how much money you actually have to work with. So take a look at your monthly budget or spending plan to identify how much you can afford to allocate to extra holiday spending. How much wiggle room do you have to set aside money for holiday spending specifically over the next month, month and a half? Are there regular expenses that you could temporarily cut back on or maybe pause in preparation for the holidays? This will be really important to understand honestly and realistic as a starting point to keep yourself from getting in over your head financially during the holiday season. It's also important to think about your normal budget categories and how they may look different during the holidays as well. Things like groceries may increase as you're maybe planning meals for more people, or all of those delicious, delicious special treats that appear in the grocery store aisles this time of year may make their way into your cart a little bit quicker because it's hard to avoid those temptations. Gas may gas may increase if you're doing more traveling for different family functions or events as well. So it's important to not just think about the clear budget categories when it comes to holidays like, gifts, but to really consider how your day-to-day spending may look different too. Next, it's really helpful to take the time to actually list out all the extra expenses you expect to have over the next month and a half. Will you be buying gifts? Who will you be buying them for? Will you be attending or hosting parties or special meals? Will you be traveling over the holidays? What about decorations and any other activities you may want to participate in or attend during this time of year? Start out by listing everything that you would ideally like to be able to spend money on this holiday season, and then roughly estimate how much each category will cost. What are some extra expenses? This is where I want to hear from you again in the chat. What are some extra expenses that you know you'll have around the holidays that aren't listed here? Share those in the chat to help others think about maybe similar expenses that they may need to plan for as well. As you're sharing in some extra expenses that you're anticipating this holiday season, it's also time to move into taking a look at that list of ideal holiday season expenses and compare that to the number you realistically expect to have available to spend. Do those numbers line up? Does the number that you want to spend and the number that you have to spend, are those equal? If not, you may need to make some decisions on what expenses are your priorities. Maybe you had ideally buying new decorations. Perhaps you could maybe reuse decorations one more year, or maybe check out the local thrift store or your neighborhood Buy Nothing group on Facebook instead of buying something brand new. Could you maybe cut back on the amount you plan to spend on gifts if you're unable to cut back on the number of people you plan to buy for? Or perhaps maybe you could consider a group gift instead of separate gifts for each individual within a family. Maybe do you have any flexibility on what meal you plan to serve for a large event? Or could you ask people to bring a dish to share instead of gifts to not only reduce your expenses to host a meal, but also your workload too, if other people can contribute food? Get creative here. There are a lot of ways to celebrate together that don't involve taking on more of a financial commitment than you can comfortably commit to do, just to ensure that your holiday money is going to your priorities. I saw a couple of other great examples come through the chat of expenses to be prepared for. Somebody said stocking stuffers can really add up in their family. Absolutely. Stocking stuffers are, typically small things, and so it can feel like you're just grabbing a thing here or there. But even those small expenses can start really adding up, especially when you're looking at multiple people. Shipping costs is another prime example. I live in Philadelphia. My family lives in Kansas. My husband and I both are from Kansas. That's where both of our family lives. So shipping costs for gifts to get to our family is absolutely something that is on the radar for sure. Someone else said pet care due to travel is expensive too. Yes, absolutely. These are great, great, great examples of things to be aware of and be planning for and be conscious of as you're figuring out what your holiday spending plan looks like. If you don't have room in your budget for everything, there are also community resources that may be able to help bridge some of these gaps. Especially for anyone with youngsters, with little ones, there are a variety of gift assistance programs that may be able to help out if you want to have gifts to wrap and share under the tree without overwhelming your budget. Check with programs like Toys for Tots or the Salvation Army, local charity or religious groups. There's a lot of adopt a family programs in various areas. See if this is something that there might be an option for to help bridge that gap if this is a concern for your family. There are also a variety of food assistance programs, especially around the holidays. Many organizations will give out turkeys and the trimmings and more. I know here in my area of Philadelphia, the different neighborhood organizations have already been posting for weeks that they have a ton of turkeys to give away and they want anyone and everyone to, come get this. They get them from different political offices, donate turkeys kind of to their constituents. So check with local food banks, check with local nonprofit organizations, community resources, and find out what food giveaways may be happening in your community and how to get on the list. As a side note, if you're in a situation where you maybe have some extra money in your budget to give away, or you prioritize being sure that you have money in your budget to give away during this time of year, consider donating to one of these organizations. Or if you don't have extra money, consider volunteering with one of these. This is a great way to spread joy and meet needs within your community during this season of giving specifically. I do see someone else shared in the chat normally they send out custom holiday cards, but planning not to do it this year because it takes a lot of extra time and money. Absolutely. Feels overwhelmed, something helpful to cut? Fully, wholeheartedly agree. Yes, you've got to do what it makes sense to free yourself up from a money standpoint, from a time standpoint. It's all about that prioritization for sure. So great work kind of recognizing that this is something that could be cut, that could free up some energy, free up some money for other things that are more priority for you right now. Great, great, great example. Once you've created that holiday spending plan and looked into ways to help you stretch that money that you have available and kind of have things prioritized and know what you're working with here, it's time to try and plan for the unexpected. Of course, we cannot anticipate and plan for everything unexpected, otherwise it wouldn't actually be unexpected. But as you're making your holiday shopping list, your holiday spending list, consider purchasing an extra universal gift or two to have on hand for maybe an unexpected guest that may arrive at a function you're hosting, or for last-minute invitations that you may receive. Having a quick universal gift on hand for these just-in-case scenarios can save you some last-minute stress, but it can also save you money if you're not having to frantically stop at whatever store is on the way or whatever store is close to grab something quickly. You may end up spending more money because you're in a hurry and you're frantically trying to get something quickly. This doesn't have to be anything fancy. This could be a candle or a bottle of wine, a box of chocolate, maybe even a gift card for a favorite local business. I encourage you to choose something that you will use or find someone to gift it to, even if you don't end up needing it. This doesn't need to be something like this excess that goes to waste if it doesn't get given. Choose something that would be a gift to yourself if you end up not needing to gift it to someone else during this time of year. Someone shared in the chat that they keep a box of general gifts all year round for birthdays, housewarmings. That's a great tip. Yes, this is not limited to the holiday season. We have lots of last minute things that pop up from time to time. And if you can get things on sale or on clearance and have that box of gifts handy, that's a great, great, great way to save some money and stress throughout the year for sure. The other thing here is if you're traveling over the holidays, there may unfortunately be interruptions between the large number of people traveling and the often unpredictable weather. I know this firsthand. My husband and I tried to fly home to Kansas for Christmas last year. We had flights on Southwest Airlines, and if you may remember, Southwest Airlines had a little bit of a meltdown last holiday season between a huge storm that blew through, and then they had some system issues. So we were very lucky to have gotten our flights canceled when we were still at home, but there were a lot of people who were stranded in cities that were not home. Several people were not even stranded at their destination. They were stranded at places in between. So trying to anticipate these potential potential interruptions ahead of time just to be prepared for them. Try and ensure you have some flexibility in your budget for maybe an extra hotel night or additional food expenses or anything else that just may come up if your holiday travel does not go quite as you planned. This is not limited to flights either. Maybe if you're traveling by car, hopefully you don't have to run into this, but emergency car repairs are something that people run into as well when we're doing travel this time of year. Would love to hear from you in the chat. What is an example of another unexpected holiday or another unexpected expense you've experienced during the holidays? I did this presentation for another group earlier this week, and someone shared that they had a kind of plumbing catastrophe a couple of days before a bunch of people were coming for the holidays. It was something that took extra expense because they needed to kind of prioritize getting this fixed before they had people in their house. And so it ended up being a stressful situation, and it ended up being a higher expense than it maybe even would have generally because of the time of year and because of the need to expedite that. So if you've got an example yourself of an unexpected expense you've experienced during the holidays, please do feel free to share that in the chat as well. Oh my gosh, someone shared their furnace broke, needed to go to a hotel. Yes, that is not a great time for that to happen. Not that there's ever a good time for that to happen, but extra stressful at the holidays for sure. Poorly timed medical expenses, yes, hear that for sure. Lots of things that can come up that, again, we can't always anticipate, but trying to have some flexibility, trying to have some maybe emergency savings available, if at all possible, can help alleviate some of that stress of these unexpected expenses when they arise. I want to shift gears here a little bit, and please do feel free to keep sharing examples in the chat if you've got that. Oh, someone just popped in that their dishwasher just broke, so rushing to get a new one, having 2 kids, so it's necessary. Yes, dishwasher, you don't really always realize how necessary it is until it's broken, especially around the holidays when there's extra dishes and extra people around for sure. So let's switch gears here a little bit to talk about some different tips and strategies for spending wisely. I don't know if you've noticed, but this time of year especially, there are a lot of temptations to spend during this season. And so it's really ideal to really head into this time with a strategy to keep your spending on track. So as you start making a gift list, be sure to do some research. There are often many different options and brands available for items, and it's helpful to research and compare. Consider things like price, yes, but also ratings and reviews, functionalities, and any other info you can get your hands on to ensure you're making a wise purchase. Is there maybe a different brand or even a generic option that is rated just as good, if not better, for a lower price? It's easy to default towards brands that we're familiar with, and it's easy to kind of assume that they're the best because we're familiar with them, but that doesn't always mean that they're the best of the best. So doing a little research to ensure you're maximizing your dollars can really pay off. This is especially true if you're maybe buying for like a child who might have a short attention span with the gift or maybe a little rough on it anyways. It can also be really helpful to do some research to find out if a great deal is actually as good of a deal as that retailer wants you to think it is. Google the product that you're considering buying and check a few other retailers to get a feel for the prices. Is the price the same or similar on different items before automatically assuming that a store telling you something is a great deal is the best price you can get the item for? I was talking with one of my teammates earlier this week who told me that she was keeping an eye out on all of these early Black Friday sales because she needs a new vacuum. And she saw a deal, she got an email about a great deal, and this vacuum was an amazing price. Act now, it's only going to be here for 24 hours. It will certainly sell out. And she just decided to do a little bit of research before activating on that. And she was very glad that she did because she found out a different retailer had the same exact vacuum that she was looking at, and their normal price was lower than this huge sale price that this other retailer was trying to convince her to bite on. So marketers and retailers and advertisers are very good at what they do, and they want to encourage you to act quick. They want to kind of play into that behavioral economics and behavioral science thing. So taking the time to pause and doing a little bit of research before just automatically assuming that that email that hits your inbox about a limited time, huge blowout deal that we've never offered before is actually as good of a deal as they want you to think it is, just to make sure that you're maximizing your money. Sometimes it will be, sometimes it it will be a great deal and you've hit the jackpot, and absolutely go for it. But taking a few minutes just to make sure can end up saving you some money, like it did for my teammate on that new vacuum. It's also never too early to start your holiday shopping. Start keeping an eye out for sales on items you know you'll need to buy, whether that's gifts or kitchen essentials that will hold up on the shelf or in the freezer until you need them. I was grocery shopping last weekend and butter was on sale for $1.99 a box. That's half the price of what it normally is. I know that we're going to use butter, so I stocked up on some extra butter when I was grocery shopping last week. Black Friday is not the only day to find great deals anymore, as you have probably noticed too. So start keeping an eye on prices now and shop early if it can save you some money. I just had an email come through my inbox right before I popped onto this webinar actually about a brand that I've purchased from before. They were offering a VIP early Black Friday sale starting tomorrow. So we've all been seeing the early Black Friday deals for a couple of weeks already. Those are just going to keep getting more and more prominent over the next few days as we head into Thanksgiving week, I am sure. The other thing here too is to have a plan. Make sure that you've got a clear plan for your holiday spending. It's up to you and how tight your holiday budget is to determine how detailed this plan is. Some people want to maximize every single penny that they're spending, and they will list every gift they want to buy. They will list every ingredient that they need to purchase for the holiday meal, and then they'll list out prices across a few stores to compare and make sure they're getting the best deal on every single holiday purchase. It's up to you whether you want to get that detailed. You also have to consider the value of your time. But for some people, they've got time to spare, and it's worth it to invest in time to save money so that they've got that money to spend somewhere else. The internet can make this a little bit easier. You don't necessarily have to go to 3 grocery stores to compare prices and then go back and actually purchase your items. You can get online and compare prices that way. But regardless of whether or not you get quite that detailed, it's really helpful to have a plan of what to buy, where you plan to buy it, and when. You don't want to be going back and forth to the same store repeatedly because you didn't remember it on your plan that you needed to buy something else there. This is something that can save you time, save you energy, and then also be saving you gas money as well if you're not having to go back and forth. I'm going to put a link in the chat for a holiday budgeting worksheet that we have here at GreenPath. So you can go to this link, and the first tile is where you can download a PDF of a holiday budget worksheet. This is designed to just help you create this plan, help you list out the things that you want to spend. It's a fillable PDF, so you can fill that out or you can print it out and write it out by hand. But this is just designed to help you create this holiday spending plan. But what good is a plan if you don't stick to it? So as we've been discussing, there are, of course, unexpected things that may pop up, but find a method that helps you stick to your plan as closely as possible. There's a lot of ways to do this. My mom, when I was growing up, one of the things that she did was for each of us in the family, so my dad, my brother, sister, and I, she kept an envelope in her purse, and each envelope had each of our names on it, and she withdrew the cash from her credit union holiday savings account at the beginning of the season, and she split that up. She had her budget of how much she was going to spend on each one of us for gifts, and each envelope got that amount of cash. And when she went shopping, she would take that envelope out and pay for that person's gift from that cash, put the change in the receipt right back in the envelope. She probably annoyed a few cashiers by splitting her purchases up by person there to be able to keep track of that, but that's what worked for her. That helped her keep track, helped her stay within her budget, helped her see exactly where things were at. And it also helped her prove to maybe slightly ungrateful children, not myself, certainly only my brother and sister, I would have never done this, but prove that, everyone had the same amount of money spent on them. So if somebody had more gifts, it's because their gifts cost less than maybe someone else's slightly more expensive gifts. But this worked for her. So if you spend cash, or if this seems like something that would be valuable, consider using that cash envelope method. This doesn't have to go just for gifts either. This could be for all of your different holiday spending categories. You can break that up, have that cash there, and know exactly where you're at. You can also do a form of this if you do that spending more so online. You could make a list or a spreadsheet, use Excel to create a spreadsheet that has each category listed out, and as you spend, write that down and subtract it out or put that in that spreadsheet. So you've still got that running total, even if it's not cash, if you're doing that spending online or using a card, that's a great way to keep track of that category or that person as well. If you still feel like you may be tempted to stray from your plan and that's something that you want to avoid, consider taking it one step further and physically remove your credit card or debit card from your wallet when you go holiday shopping. Take only the cash you budgeted. This might feel a little scary and may take a little bit of creativity, but this can be another great way to really ensure that you stay within the budget that you set for yourself. Somebody put in the chat that they plan to use some of their credit card miles to purchase gift cards at Marshall's and other stores to help purchase gifts. It's helpful with kids. Absolutely. This is a great, great, great idea. I know some other people who have gotten in the habit of every payday throughout the year, they just buy like a $25 Target gift card or Amazon gift card, and they just kind of tuck that away. And then they've got those gift cards available to either give as gifts or to use to purchase gifts. And that's what works for them. They found that tucking or buying those gift cards makes more sense to them than sticking money in savings. You got to figure out what works for you, but saving those miles and using those points is another great, great, great example of how to, essentially for free, if you've, earned those points, get those gift cards for sure. It can also be helpful, speaking of, to consider giving cash or gift cards as gifts. So sometimes we can get in our own heads about cash or gift cards coming off as impersonal, but when it comes down to it, there's a lot of people who would prefer the opportunity to choose their own gift instead of maybe ending up with something that they don't actually really want or need and are never going to use. So there are absolutely people that you'll want to, buy a personal gift for. If you've got a great idea for someone, or if it's important for you to find a gift for someone specifically, by all means do it. But consider who on your shopping list would be more excited maybe to do their own shopping. Have you ever seen a kid in the toy aisle at a store with money of their own and they can choose whatever toy they want? That's an exciting thing. Yes, they get excited about opening a toy under the tree, but having that choice is really valuable too. So not only does this save you time and stress of choosing the perfect gift, but it can also be an easy way to make certain that you stay within your gift budget. If you're giving someone the exact amount of money that you budgeted to spend on them, you don't risk that temptation of finding a gift that is maybe over that budget and feeling like you're, kind of pulled between making a decision on what to do there. And finally, commit to avoid going into debt for holiday spending. This is something that also may require some creativity and accountability, and yes, perhaps even some disappointment. But freeing yourself from accumulating high interest credit card balances and making payments on this for the next year is a gift to your 2024 self that will keep giving. This can also help you have the funds available to set yourself up financially for next holiday season. There are still a lot of ways to give gifts and create holiday memories without spending more money than you can afford to do at this time. So if the holidays have typically involved taking on debt for you and you're ready to change that, consider making this a reset year by spending only what you can pay for upfront. Then spend 2024 saving the money that you would maybe normally be using to pay off the credit card balances you accumulated during the holiday. Stick that money into savings instead of paying off credit cards so that you can return to your typical holiday spending next year without having to go into debt. Any other strategies or tips to spend wisely that I didn't cover here? Please share those in the chat. Or if you've tried any of these strategies and it worked, or if it didn't work, please share your experience with trying any of these things as well. Would love to hear from you all. I see someone in here who said you can put your own spin on cash or a gift card, choose a personal card to go with it, add something small that you chose to add to the cash card. Absolutely. My mom notoriously, her nephews, my cousins, when they went to college, she made some fun game out of gift cards. She would get them, different fast food gift cards or gas cards that they really kind of needed and wanted as they were in college and out on their own. And she made sure that it was still a memorable experience. There was something involving like tape, like those tape balls where you have to just kind of keep unwrapping to get to it, and different things that she came up with. I'm not sure how she came up with all of them, but there's ways that you can still make a gift card or cash a little bit more personal and enjoyable. Absolutely. Anyone? Oh, let's see here. The tips are coming in. I remember my grandmother used to bake Christmas cookies for neighbors and friends and put them in a nice Christmas tin. This is something that people looked forward to each year as a special gift. Great example. For the price of some baking ingredients and her time, that was something that people looked forward to and had that special gift. Great example. The next person also said homemade treats to give out. Their mom's holiday cookies are famous among the family. Absolutely. Giving experiences that are inexpensive but take your time can be meaningful and save money. Absolutely. Speaking of, let's move into our next category. Please do feel free to keep sharing out examples, but absolutely. The holidays are also a time when many families and friends come together, and many people think back on these times fondly throughout the year and for years to come. So whether you're looking to reduce spending or to just make your spending more meaningful, there are a lot of great ways to create lasting memories during the holiday season. And just like was just suggested here in the chat, one way to do that is to consider gifting experiences instead of items. So if you're looking around your house and you know that the one thing that your family does not need more of is stuff, this is a great gift giving alternative. There's a variety of ways to do this. Maybe it's a group gift that everyone can enjoy together, or maybe an individual gift that will be more meaningful and memorable than an item. This could include something like tickets for a concert or performance. Maybe it's not immediate, maybe it's next summer, but this is something that someone can look forward to and can have as that experience as part of their gift. Maybe consider booking a trip together as a family or a friend group instead of purchasing gifts for each other, or maybe even booking a trip as a surprise gift for a loved one if you've got the budget to do so. This doesn't have to involve planes and hotels either. Booking a day trip to a nearby town or planning to explore your own city totally counts too. Consider gifting a membership to the local zoo, aquarium, or museum. This is something that a family can enjoy year-round and create lots of memories using. My husband and I don't have kids yet, but we've got several families in our life with little ones. And every year, every family with little kids that we know, here in our lives, ask for grandparents to get a zoo membership or an aquarium membership for them instead of more gifts. And those families enjoy those memberships year round. They're going to the zoo regularly. They're going to the aquarium regularly. This is something that kept them from accumulating more toys in their house, but creates experiences and memories for their family year round. Does someone on your list want to maybe learn or refine a specific skill? Purchase a set of classes for them. Cooking classes, art classes, photography, maybe learning a new language, dance, musical instruments, sports. There's a lot of possibilities here. Helping your loved ones grow a skill set that they, either maybe want to get back to or have expressed wanting to learn from scratch. This can be an amazing gift, especially for maybe people who are a little bit harder to buy gifts for. If you have a sports fan or an amusement park lover on your list, maybe surprise them with season tickets for something that they can enjoy throughout the next year. And these are just a few suggestions to get your mind wandering. The possibilities are really endless here. Think about your loved one's interests and passions and get creative to think about the ways that you can use this gift-giving season to build on those by gifting memorable experiences. I see some things coming in the chat here. Someone suggested picking out a book you think they would like at the free neighborhood book library or thrift store. Buy or make them a nice bookmark. Don't forget to write a little note inside. That's a great example. Keep an eye out for those local community offerings, free theater, music days, park events, outside movie nights, craft fairs, great examples. I know in my neighborhood, it's pretty much impossible to keep up with all of the free community events that are happening. So that's a great suggestion for sure. Speaking of that, the holiday season can also be a great time to start free or low-cost traditions to just start creating those lasting memories moving forward. So as I share a list of examples, please keep sharing your own examples in the chat. What are your favorite holiday memories or traditions that you've started with your family or your friends? There are, of course, a lot of endless possibilities here as well, but some ideas include maybe a gingerbread house competition, and then consider posting the final products on social media and request votes to determine a winner, and the winner gets maybe a fun prize. You could also have a festive holiday movie night, complete with pajamas, hot chocolate, and plenty of snacks, of course. The holiday season is also full of opportunities to give back to your community. Maybe start a tradition of volunteering together at a favorite organization with your family or with a group of friends. There's, of course, as we've already been discussing here, no shortage of sweets to be found during the holiday season, but this is also a great opportunity to create new traditions. Plan an annual cookie baking day, and then take plates of treats around to share with your neighbors. Hop in the car, turn on your favorite holiday music, and drive around to check out the holiday lights displays. Make this extra special by always getting dinner at a specific family favorite restaurant. Or maybe everyone wears pajamas and you stop for peppermint hot chocolate on the way. These are, again, just a few suggestions. Get creative and talk to your family and friends about what traditions they would like to start. I know there are different families and groups of friends who create like a holiday bucket list every year where they spend time as a family creating a list of everything that they want to do during the holiday season. Each person gets to pick something, and that goes on the list, and they work through that over the holiday season. There's lots of great ways here to really make this a memorable experience and a memorable season without having to go and spend a ton of money always. So as we wrap up today, I want to make sure that we're talking about how to start planning ahead for next year too. Again, right now, we're just a week or so away from the kickoff of this holiday season. So that expedites and potentially honestly limits the things that we've discussed today. So the remainder of our time is going to really focus on how to give yourself more time to ease into future holiday seasons. So as you create and use your spending plan this year, make note of the things you would like to be able to include or increase next year. The back of your holiday budgeting worksheet that I sent that link out to in the chat, and let me just pop that link in here again while we're talking about it once again. But there is a second page of this PDF that has some reflection questions that can help you think about this. Keep your list handy as you're setting your goals for the next holiday season. Holiday gatherings are also a great time to start suggesting changes for next year. If you're maybe considering switching from everybody buying a gift for everyone to maybe drawing names, this is a great time to discuss it right as you're finishing up this holiday event. Maybe ask for a volunteer to host the holiday gathering next year and discuss potential travel plans with plenty of time for everyone to prepare. After the holiday season wraps up, think about how much you'd like to be able to spend next year. Since you've got an entire year to prepare, now's the time to dream big about what all you'd like to be able to ideally include in your holiday budget. Once you know how much you will plan to spend, break that amount up over the course of a year and save accordingly. Set up a separate savings account for the holidays. Harvard University Employees Credit Union, for example, offers a holiday club savings account. Divide your holiday spending goal up by the number of paydays between now and next Thanksgiving, next early November, and divide that amount up by payday and set that up to automatically deposit into your holiday savings account each time you get paid. Then when November rolls around next year, you've got the money that you want to spend. You've got that exact amount to work with and know exactly where you're at, and you can repeat these same steps of figuring out how much money you've got and what your priorities are for that money to go to. If you plan to travel over the next holiday season, book as far in advance as possible to help save money. Do you have the opportunity to maybe earn rewards points that you can start saving up for these typically more expensive travel times? If you have a preferred airline, keep an eye out and maybe even sign up for emails if you don't already get them so that they will let you know when they've released their holiday flights. I usually get an email from airlines that is shouting it from the rooftops when their holiday season flight schedule is released because they want to make sure that people know about that and can get those flights booked. Consider booking as early as possible, ideally with a refundable fare in case your plans change. But booking travel accommodations like flights, hotels, rental cars, trains, whatever you may need, as far in advance as you can during the busiest travel season of the year can not only save you money, but save you stress if you're getting closer to that travel time and the options are more limited as well. If there are certain gifts that you know you'd like to purchase, keep an eye out for sales on those items earlier in the year. Someone just shared in the chat that they keep a running list on their phone of gift ideas for people all year round, so they can refer back to it when it's their birthday or holiday. great, great, great example to not only lower stress, like this person said, but also can help you keep an eye out for when those items might be on sale even earlier in the year. Many retailers have started offering sales that compete with or even exceed Black Friday throughout the entire year. I think there's been like 4 different Amazon Prime days this year. And every time Amazon announces a big Prime Day, all the other retailers suddenly are having sales at the same time to try and compete as well. So this can be a great way to save money. If you know what you're planning to purchase for someone in advance, keep an eye out throughout the year and take advantage of those sales and get that stress reduced to save that money by doing that shopping ahead of time. If new decor is on your wish list, hit up the after Christmas sales to see what you can buy now at a deep discount. Some of that stuff goes on clearance down to like 90% off. Buy that at that deep discount and tuck it away in storage until next year. If all of these ideas sound great, but you're still not quite sure how to fit them into your budget, I wanted to let you know that you are welcome and encouraged to give us a call here at GreenPath Financial Wellness. So as I mentioned earlier, GreenPath is a nonprofit organization that is here to help people lead a financially healthy life year-round. So we offer educational resources like this webinar, but we also offer free confidential, what we call financial assessments, that you can reach out to us and go through your financial situation with a certified counselor. So we'll take a look at your budget with you, or maybe you don't have a budget and you want some tips on how to create one. We can do that with you. We're not here to judge you or tell you what to do. We're here to collaborate with you to develop an action plan to help you work towards where you want to be financially. We can also talk about a variety of other financial concerns or goals you have related to things like credit or housing or student loans or debt. So if you would like to give yourself the gift of financial health and peace of mind this holiday season, reach out to us here at GreenPath at 877-337-3399, or you can head over to greenpath.com/partner/HUECU to learn more as well. I'm also going to put just one more link here in the chat that is an article that is available on our website with just some more tips to get your money into holiday mode. So if you want to learn a little bit more, read a little bit more, check out that article that was just released this week. And if you do give us a call, please let us know that you heard about us from Harvard University Employees Credit Union. Even if you're not a member yet, hopefully you will be if you're not already. Harvard generously hosted this webinar, so we want to make sure that we capture them as the source of how you heard about us. If you've got any questions, I would love to answer them, but thank you all so much for your time today. Thank you so much for interacting and sharing your stories, your tips, your suggestions in the chat. But if you've got questions, please do share those in. Happy to get those answered.
Thank you so much, Amber. This has been amazing. I've learned some new tips as well for the holiday budgeting season, to be honest with you.
Great.
Thank you again, Amber. And we can stay on for a little bit longer. We have a bit more time. So if anybody has any questions, please put them in the Q&A while we still have Amber. If not, thank you so much, Amber. You've been amazing. And thank you so much to everyone who's attended so far. Let's see. I don't see any questions coming in, but I think this was great. Thank you, Amber.
Absolutely. Thank you all, and happy holiday season to you, and happy holiday spending. Hopefully this helps reduce some stress for y'all.
Yes, it will. And also, just to let everybody know, this presentation has been recorded, and a recording will be sent out to everybody and also uploaded to our YouTube page if you want to watch it again.
And Terrence, I'll send you an email with those links that I shared in chat, and also just a PDF of that holiday budget worksheet. So if you want to include that in the email, we'll make sure that those links get shared with you as well.
Awesome. Perfect. Thank you so much. All right.
Absolutely.
Bye, everyone.